Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SFC's Food for Thought series. My name is Hannah, and I'm a third-year student at U of C in Natural Science. And with me today, I have Justice and Lily as my co-hosts. Justice, if you want to give yourself a little introduction, that would be amazing.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Jay. I'm Justice Otto. I graduated from the University of Alberta in 2020 with a Bachelor of Commerce degree. I majored in finance and minored in economics, and I've been with SFC for about a year and a half now.
Hi, my name is Lily Peterson. It's good to see you again, Jay. So I attended SAIT in 2019. I took the journalism program, and I've been with SFC for about 4 months now.
So I guess
Amazing. Thanks, guys. I'll give you a little introduction, and then you can fill in any blanks that I missed.
Sure.
Perfect. Alrighty, so for those of you who are just seeing SFC for the first time, we are an advocacy group made by students and young professionals for students and young professionals, and we believe that Canada can have a strong future in resources, the economy, and the environment. Please connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn if you want to learn more about what we do. Jay Woosaree is an environmental and agricultural professional scientist with over 34 years of experience in addressing environmental challenges. This includes land and wetland reclamation, environmental remediation, ecological restoration, revegetation of disturbed habitats, and much more. Jay is also an expert in leading multifaceted projects in the resource extraction and agricultural sectors. Jay is also working on developing an Indigenous land stewardship and entrepreneurship program to inspire Indigenous youth in becoming stewards of their land, pursuing further education, and obtaining meaningful employment. In addition, Jay is also incredibly well-versed in areas such as processes to enhance reclamation and remediation practices and program development. He's also served as a subject matter expert to extract key environmental knowledge and information and translate it into valued information to aid with informed decision-making. This barely begins to scratch the surface on Jay's depth of knowledge, achievements, and imperative roles across a variety of sectors. Some of these roles include work with Alberta Innovates Technology Futures, also known as AITF, working as president of his own environmental incorporated company, and his current role as an Indigenous training advisor at Ridgeline, Canada. So before I hand the floor over to Jay, please know that attendees are encouraged to ask questions throughout the presentation using the Q&A box below, and we'll address all of these at the end of the session. And for anyone watching live or watching the recording, our word of the day is development. I'm going to share the spotlight now with Jay. Jay, if you would like to go ahead and share your screen, please go right ahead.
Thank you, Anna. That's a wonderful introduction. Yeah, you did that very well. So I guess now I'll share my screen. Do you guys see my screen?
Perfect. It looks good. And then you can hit present, and we should get the full screen of it.
Present.
Perhaps slideshow at the top.
Oh, that's good.
Oh yeah, nope, perfect. Looks good.
Okay, yeah. Welcome again, and it's a pleasure to be here to be presenting among you. And thank you, Anna and Justice and Lily, for inviting me to this presentation. It's my first time presenting to you guys, so that's awesome. What I'm going to talk to you today is about Ridgeline Canada's program, Indigenous Education Program, and why we are doing that, and give some little bit background about Ridgeline Canada, who we are, what do we do, and what we are doing to advance like building capacity in remote Indigenous communities in Canada. So as any company, Ridgeline as a mission is basically to create value naturally, which means that, you know, like Canada, especially Alberta, is a resource extraction industries. And of course, one of the things we do is like, how do we repair the ecosystem to bring it back to what it was prior to disturbances? So we call that like creating value naturally, but also like our vision is to strive to be the most trusted environmental partner. By that, we are transparent, we are meaningful, and we are accountable for what we do. And of course, like with any organization, we have the core values of safety. Safety is very important. We believe in good quality work. I talk about accountability already, to our clients and to the people we serve and we represent, and also integrity, inclusion, and communication. Inclusion is very important nowadays, especially to prepare students, workers, to be sure we adapt to their needs, we understand them, and how can we make the work environment way better for them. And of course, communication, try to communicate with our workers and our stakeholders. So those are very important to be successful, and Ridgeline, we believe in those values in order to succeed as a business. So who is Ridgeline? Ridgeline, we have been in environmental business service provider since 1999. We have 3 divisions in Alberta or in Western Canada. We have Ridgeline Environment, Ridgeline Response, and Ridgeline Greenfield. I will talk a little bit about each of them. What do they do? We have about 130 employees, and also we do all kind of business in the environmental sector. So our environmental business, as you can see, it offers a comprehensive, integrative approach, because when you do work in an environment, it's not like one solution fit all. Each site is unique, and we have to adapt our research, our scope to each of those sites. So we provide environmental assessment, land water monitoring, remediation, reclamation, decommissioning, site decommissioning, and much more. And I will talk a little bit later about each of them. Regional response is basically again, we provide holistic approach to spill response. Every time you have a transformer blew up, or you get a derailment, you get a spill on the work site, someone has to go and clean that soil. We cannot just leave it there. So like you see in this picture, sometimes we have to set up booms, we have to contain that contaminant from reaching the streams, the water bodies, and we try to take those contaminated water and reclaim that. So lots of opportunities, lots of services were provided. And Ridgeline Greenfield, we take that contaminated soils, we treat them, and then we use them back at backfill on construction sites, because that soil has to be cleaned. We use different processes how to clean these soils. And of course, when someone goes to school, they learn about environmental sciences, then of course they have to try to get their hands on to gain experiences. So there's a broad field that you can learn from. And at Ridgeline, there's lots of opportunities to work, to try your hands at different activities. So why do we do this program? So throughout this presentation, I will talk through about why does Ridgeline believe in training, try to build capacity in remote indigenous communities. And of course, when there are projects, we always need skilled people to work, to assist us. And when we try to work on these projects, we always lack those capacity. So of course, throughout Canada, anytime there's a project that goes on, like a huge project, take for example, the West Coast Gas Link. We talk about the site rehab program that the government of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and so on launched to reclaim abandoned well sites in Western Canada. So every time there's these activities, there is a lack of, it has business opportunities, but we need those skilled people in order to help us out to do that. So current evidence suggests indigenous people are poorly positioned to benefit from the resource economy. We have these projects, but we have lack of education and the work skills in order to fully participate, to benefit from this program. And I mentioned about the site rehab program, like a mining project, gas project, even in any type of commercial construction, there's always an environmental component that needs to be addressed. So lots of opportunities for work. And that's why, in order to fulfill that needs, we thought by working, by enabling indigenous people to gain those skills, we can help them participate into that economy. So the rationale for Ridgeline program, we wanted to invest in those communities to build a sustainable capacity. We don't just want somebody to come on the side just to walk around, just to like, hey, we have one Indigenous people working for us. We want to help them build career pathways, to try their hands at different activities and see something that they like, and then they can pursue it further based on what they want to do in life. So by capacity building, many of us think that, we just want to like this what most of them will try to do, like, we want to increase our labor pool, we just bring some people, we get them to develop skills and competency. But capacity developing, it's more than that. It's a broader concept that an organization has to embrace. And at Ridgeline, we try, it's an investment. Investment we put into the people and into the community in order to develop that capacity. If I'm too fast, just tell me and I will try to slow down, but I'll keep on going. So we started that program in about 3 years ago. We want to build a technically skilled capacity for Indigenous communities in those remote areas that we are doing business. And at the same time, we can train people as much as we want, but these trainings are not recognizable by industries. So the best way to do that, we involve post-secondary institutions so that if they can grant certain amount of credits on the work experience that the people are gaining while working with us or working with some other organization, that will be a bonus. As we know, many of Indigenous people work in communities, but we learn better by trying our hands on work, on doing things. We learn by doing. So that's why we thought, like, if by working with schools and they can evaluate the competency that the students are learning, that will be the best way to go. So Ridgeline program, we work also with the community. Sorry, my diabetic alarm is going on, but anyway. At Ridgeline, we work with the communities, with First Nation communities. We try to understand what is the need of a community, what is the local employment situation, what is the capacity, like are there people looking for jobs, willing to learn. So by getting the right fit from the community, and then we develop those partnership with the community in order to so that the community will benefit. And from a picture above, just pictures you see by, like, training, getting people to try their hands. Like in this case, we are doing like a wetland assessment. We're trying to determine the what do you call it, the site assessment. We're trying to determine what kind of wetland are we working in. If it's a peatland, is it a bog, is it a fen, what is it? So this is just a bit more technical. So a little bit background about the Indigenous program. We started that about 3 years, a little bit more, way over 3 years, more like 4 years ago. And of course, there were lots of planning that went into that. In 2019, we worked with Husky Canada to develop a green hands program. And that was out of tribal chiefs in Battleford. And this allowed communities, Indigenous people from there to gain practical work experience by remediation and reclamation. And at that time, we did not have a college partner, but eventually we developed a partnership with Lakeland College so that Lakeland College can do the competency. Unfortunately, the economy took a downturn around that time, and we have to stop that program. So then in 2021, we start another partnership with Northern Lights College, and we have BC OGC supporting the program. We have BC Wildlife, we have a BC Ministry of Education. They thought it was a good idea. So Ridgeline was one of the organizations that championed that idea in Northeast BC. And we start with about 13 communities. We've got about 26 students. And at the end of the program, after 6 months, we have about 16 students that graduated. And the whole idea was for them, after gaining the credits for work experience while on the job, they get anything from 15 to 20 credits based on their accomplishment. And then they can go back to the school, to any school in Canada, actually, like which Northern Lights has partnership with, and they continue their education there. So to do to get your diploma, you need about 60 credits, I think. And you get about 15 to 20 credits already while working. So this is really a good head start into a program where someone can earn a diploma in the environmental sciences. So when you look at the career opportunities, there's a lot throughout Western Canada. Like, you know, if you look at site planning, construction in the oil and gas, it's always about like an 18 months job. But drilling and so on is about 2 to 3 weeks. But if you look at the reclamation, it's ongoing. There's a lot of sites that have to be reclaimed. Abandoned sites that are in production now, which in the future have to be reclaimed. There's thousands and thousands. So if you want to build a career in the environmental services sector, there's lots of opportunities, especially nowadays with green energy, about mining and so on for lithium and things like that. You will see way more opportunities about land reclamation. So the prospects are bright. And in fact, nowadays, like due to the amount of activities, it's hard to find skilled personnel to help us on projects. So we participate in career fairs, we do presentations. Hopefully we'll build that pool of skilled labor to assist us on our work. Here I put a slide. We just showed you a little bit about oil and gas reclamation. Yes, we have lots of sites that are abandoned and so on, but tremendous effort is being put into reclaiming these sites to make it look what it was prior to disturbances. So in this case, what you showed you, like, you know, like the idea is to return the site to its condition you found it. So as an environmentalist coordinator or site assessment, you will go there, you look for other sites, you want to see if there's any contamination or potential contamination, and you will try to determine what kind of work needs to be done. Your whole goal is to be sure that there's no contamination after construction. You put the soils back, everything, when you establish vegetation. And the vegetation will depend upon the end land use, but the site was prior to disturbances. If it was forestry, you try to put it back to trees, or if it was grassland, you try to put it to foragers, to native pasture, or if it's agriculture, you put it back to crops. But basically, you reclaim sites to its former end use or some kind of productive use agreed by the landowner. So this is just a snapshot of what land reclamation is. Of course, Ridgeline, if you're looking at what else do I do? There are lots of opportunities. When we go to school, we learn it in general terms about everything. There's so much to learn. But when you're working, you sort of finding your specialization. Like you can be an environmental site assessor, you can get involved into reclamation, remediation, you can get involved in groundwater monitoring, work as a monitor, work as a pipeline assessor, you can do gravel pits. So there's lots of opportunities so that you can focus and gain experience, or you can work in all aspects of environmental land reclamation. And at Ridgeline, like I said, we have a spill response. Anytime you have a response, you have to try to clean that contaminated site. There's also like causes like for wildlife management and monitoring, sampling, and in many cases there's long-term monitoring, because depending upon the type of contamination, you may have to monitor for years. Could be 5 years, could be 10 years. So it depends upon the risks. So the opportunities to develop a career into environmental services is quite a lot, is quite rewarding. And so as a beginner, if you come out from a remote communities and you have no experience, no skill, and you say, okay, like, what would I do? And of course, because of the safety, the competency, you will always work underneath a mentor. A mentor, a supervisor will guide you on the day-to-day activities, what you will be doing. And if you ask, like, what would I be doing? Well, you can assist in ensure that, you know, whatever work is being done, this is what sort of like align with what your community wants. You take the information to the community, you share it with them, you respond back to us. You can take records of observations. You identify any environmental practices to be sure it's aligned with the community way of life. So the opportunities is great because as a beginner, you want to learn. And as long as you have a mentor who wants to assist you, will match you with someone. And I think you will do well if you're willing to learn. And like, for example, like environmental sampling, there's quite a lot of technique going into about how do I properly collect a soil samples, pack it, label it, send it for analysis, and interpret the data and so on. So there's lots of work, and all these works you will be doing underneath a mentor. When we feel you're competent enough, you can move to the next activity and keep on learning. So this is how you progress. So, and of course, safety is important. Like we cannot emphasize that enough, depending upon the type of work. And many cases, if people will say, oh, I got all my safety tickets, I'm ready for work. Education, safety, and experience go hand in hand in order to build that competency. So you need works of experience, you need some kind of education, why you're doing certain things, and of course, make sure you have your safety tickets. You may not need all the safety tickets, depending upon the type of work, upon the client sites, what do they required. Then like your first aid is very standard. We miss, of course, workplace orientation and so on. Those are some of the basics safety requirements that one will need. So now I will talk about a recent project, what we recently did with Northern Lights College in Northeast BC, just to share some of experience where we provide Indigenous people there from different communities with work experience. So like in this case, like a student had the opportunity to overlap what they are doing at their own work with the employers. And by working with us at Northern Lights College, they can get those credits. This is just, you see, like, you know, like one of our own, like Brad Funk is sampling the soils, showing them how to properly do a soils profile. On the picture on the right, you see my colleague Shelley English and another colleague trying to show them on agricultural land, like looking at the soils classification again. What kind of soils is that? What is the organic matter? What is the kind of debris, like, you know, like composted materials you see from the top layer? And all those are indicators of a good soil. So basically trying to teach them about the different factors, different activities that you will learn. And you had the opportunity, when you're on this program, you had the opportunity to interact with different people, not to work with one person all the time. You will work with one mentor for a length of time, and you work with the next one. You learn different components of work. The program we did with Northern Lights, you have a field application, and that's like where students are, some of them already have work, and where others we have to find work for them, either through us or through different companies. We have an exchange of knowledge because the students, they have their own background, their own knowledge that they learn from their community, from their ancestors, and we leave it up to them to share with the rest of the class, and many of them will do that. And also, like, we interact with each other, like, you know, there's lots of bonding going on by exchanging of those knowledge, the experiences, because each of us is unique in this way. So we are learning from each other. So, of course, the Western sciences is always important. Why do we do it? Why do we have to collect soils this way? Why do we do the assessment this way? What is the practical rationale behind it? So we have to, like with the college, we teach them some introductory soils, some botany, some ecology, some land restoration and remediation principles, and of course field design. Like, you know, like if there's a certain protocol, how you collect data, how is it analyzed. So we give them the basics, And when that with the experience and so on, we can build on that richness. So in this one again, like we showed you about like soils profiling, site characterization, and basically looking at the site, you know, what is it telling you compared from disturbances to undisturbed? Is it the site look on the right path, right trajectory? So what is the site telling you? So lots of learning, lots of exchanges between groups. I talk about partnership, like we need those partnership from institution in order to assess competency. We have a partnership with Lakeland College. We have one with Northern Lights College. We are also working with SAIT and Northwest College, pretty close to have a discussion. This take a lot of time to develop partnership with institution. And of course, many institutions have their own program. So now when you bring these ideas to them, say, why do you, like, what is the rationale? Why do we want to work with you? So you have to make those cases, like, you know, the benefits, you know, like to be having those partnership. So when I talk about benefits, like, you know, Ridgeline, we recognize that working with in remote communities is a privilege, and we want to support that collaborative capacity building. We want to build career pathways. We don't want people to come on the site just for a few months work and go. We have to find the right mix. We want to build those career pathways. Like previously in my previous slides, I talk about the different activities one can do, you know, the range of activities. So this is what I mean by career pathways, something you know close to your heart, what you want to do, and something you have to be comfortable with. You want to learn more and more, right? And for us, also about building that economic reconciliation. We talk a lot about reconciliation, but what does it mean? So by developing those partnerships with the communities, we ensure that the benefits to all of us and make it sustainable, but it's not a one-time piece of work and done. We want to be sure we have a long-term relationship for many, many years to come. So this is what we see at Ridgeline. And in doing that partnership, like, we are very happy. But we have partnership with about 13 or more First Nation. From the list, you can see the range of partnership partners we have from Northeast Alberta, throughout Alberta, from the Samson Cree in central Alberta, Ochi is a little bit more in the southern, Saddle Lake, and so on. And those are Saskatchewan First Nation from the Battlefield Agency of Tribal Chiefs. And also in Kaishtawa First Nation in Saskatchewan, Fort Nelson in BC, Swan Lake in Manitoba. So we had quite a few partnerships, and just because we need capacity, so we cannot keep on developing partnership if we don't have the right people to fill those jobs. So we need to have those people. So slowly we like to develop more partnerships, but we need more capacity in order to do that. So if anyone is interested to learn more, contact myself or Madi Pidone at Ridgeline. My email is there, so is Madi's email. Just shoot us an email. And I did not look at the time. I just keep on talking. I hope I did not use all my time, but I conclude that presentation with just a beautiful photo of, like, you know, the mountains and the streams, the rivers running, because we all care about the environment. Resource is part of our life, resource extraction, resource activities. It provides for us just, and also this is what we want to leave it with, you know, where a place where we can go and enjoy, relax, and so on. Many activities. With that, I say thank you. And if you have questions for me, I will try to answer, but it has been a pleasure. Yeah.
Fantastic. Jay, thank you so much. That was a phenomenal presentation, and your time and effort is so appreciated.